Underground Railroad, and I got my partner in crime, but we don't commit crimes, brother David Kaas from out of California.
Yes, sir.
Mercy.
It's a beautiful day out here today, Clifton.
It's beautiful.
No rain till tonight.
Oh, brother. Oh, problem. You know what? In quick synopsis, we're going to talk about local news, national news, international news, and current news from a USA perspective. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get down with it. David, come on. Talk to me. Who are you, man? Talk to me.
I'm David Kaas. I'm living in California here on Venice Beach at the moment, but I'm from the cornfields of Iowa, right next door to Chicago, Illinois. But nice to see you all out there today, and nice to have you listening to us.
Okay. And you go to David Kaas's YouTube page. Where your YouTube page at, man?
You go to YouTube, you just type in David L. Kaas, Kaas, and hit the search bar, and it'll bring up my face, a little circle, and click onto my page and go there and view my videos and leave some comments.
Okay, and we look forward to it. And you know what? They can call in, they can press on the link, and hell, you can come on in there with us. What's going on in the news? What's going on, man?
Well, there's a lot going on in the news, but a lot of it isn't even important. But there's some things have been going on, like our border problems keep going on. Nothing's happening with that. Our gas prices keep going up. The food keeps going up, and the wages, they don't do nothing. They're just staying about the same, so it's getting hard. It's getting real hard. But, that fentanyl, I just saw a thing on Tucker Carlson last night said there's enough fentanyl being seized to kill every human being in this country.
What is fentanyl? I don't know what is fentanyl used?
Fentanyl is an opiate that they make, and it's stronger than heroin and stronger than opium or morphine, and it can kill you. One tab can kill you. It looks just like sweet tarts now, pink and blue and yellow, green, and they're shipping them over here. Nobody knows where they're coming from, but I would guess Australia. Our CIA went down there and set up labs about 10 years ago, and they were bringing them in Florida, but now they're bringing them in through the Mexican border through the cartel, through the immigrants. But that's still going on, and the news doesn't really report on it too much. They're more concerned with the body count in Texas rather than the fentanyl count at the border. But that's still going on, along with the chemtrails over our heads. And, Clifton, we've been elected presidents now for 6 years, 8 years, and nothing good's happening. We got a Congress and a Senate, and nothing's happening. Good for the people, good for the country, good for anything. So I have to ask myself, do we need to reappoint our whole Congress and Senate and our judicial branch? It's not possible. What are we going to do, Clifton?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, look at, man, but former President Donald Trump alleged that he took classified documents, and Joe Biden took classified documents.
Yes.
Very unusual. What do we do? What do we do? First of all, the only reason that I vote is because I can't complain if I don't vote.
Right.
But I don't believe it's going to get any better. I'm one of these, I don't believe it's going to get any better. But I know you say, David, and the people that's listening, it's an oxymoron that I would say something like that and I vote. I just happen to believe you cannot complain if you don't vote. I don't believe you can complain if you don't vote. What do you think?
I would agree with that most of the time, except what about if they fixed the voting machines since 1973, and every president was selected, not elected. That means that they decided who was going to win the election, and then they said, "Hey, we got it. We got this guy got the most votes. He won the election." But the machines suckered us all, just like Las Vegas suckers you when you go there. You know, they let one person win every hour, but they take all the money. So, but that's what our voting machines are. They look like, you know, you would think this would operate only one way, but no. It's a mechanical device and allows votes to be added or subtracted during the night or at any time by telephone call. So that's what's been going on. We've all been getting scammed. I like to think we should all vote and we would all get a good result, but that isn't what's happening because the machines have been in place since 1973.
Well, I mean, me and you we've been over this, and I believe that even if the machines were not rigged, that the game is rigged. Whereas the people that have the money, multimillionaires, become president of the United States of America. Not your average Joe that's making 20 or 35 or $15,000 a year, because we couldn't sustain a campaign like that. So the rich and the powerful and elite are the ones that have the money. They have the capital. They have the finances. And so therefore, they control major television stations,
All the television.
major radio stations,
Right.
big publications, and most important pieces of land. So,
Well, until the last two elections we've had, there has been an open ticket. An open ticket means that anybody can run on it. You or me or anybody can run. But before the last two election cycles, we've only had big ticket, like Democratic, Republican, Greenpeace, big parties that are organized companies. You got hundreds of employees, and they're all nonprofit, of course, but they push for a particular party candidate in an election. This last election, last two elections, anybody can run on the open ticket provided by nationofchange.org. That's a online magazine, and they got balloting rights now. So if the people out there wanted to, or if they knew to, they could vote in a candidate who's an independent, and then that person can make some changes in a big way. But if all you got is Democrats and Republicans getting voted in every time, it's all part of a con game. They're all working for the people that are providing that platform, Democratic Republican platform, for them to run on. So that's why it doesn't matter if you vote or not. We're all getting screwed so far.
See, I'm listening to what you're saying. It is true. You can run on an open platform, but the thing is, you need capital. You need money to sustain a successful run, because that costs money to get your name on every single ballot in each one of the states. So I don't see it.
Well,
I don't see it. I don't see it as. I don't really see it as feasible, because you need money. You need money to jump on a plane to go to New York to campaign. You need money to go to California to campaign. You need money to pay campaign workers. I don't see it where the typical man or woman could run. I mean, if I'm wrong, couldn't correct me.
Well, it's the amount of money that can make a difference in an individual's campaign. The campaign, like I said, is open to the public now on nationofchange.org, but it's the financing for the individual's campaign is up to that person, to get out there and to spread the word and to get heard by making television appearances. Donald Trump, when he got elected, there was a news coverage of him for that whole summer, a whole year, free news coverage that got him elected. Nobody really knew who Donald Trump was, other than that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show that he had on, for
no, it was The Apprentice. I think the name of the show was The Apprentice, wasn't it?
I thought it was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
No, you're talking about Regis Philbin. You're talking about Regis.
That's a $10,000 pyramid.
Yeah. No, you're talking about Mike. That's Michael Strahan.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I knew he had a show on a program on TV.
I would say though, you know what? I don't see it sustainable. Like I said, you cannot raise $1 million. You got to pay to get on those planes. You got to pay to get campaign Underground Railroad. But you have to pay to get these campaign tickets made up. You have to pay for a headquarters. And you know what? I couldn't see something like that unless it was really a people's movement. There was a movie called once, Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane by Jimmy Stewart. And he stood up against the Congress. He was an honest man. But it would have to be such a movement where I just don't see the average person. I don't see the average person having the temerity and I don't see that. But
well, it's happening before us. We got two last elections where they had open ticket. But like I say, the Dominion machines decide who's going to win. So it don't even matter whether you run on $1 million or $10 million. If the elite don't want you to win, you're not going to win anyway.
Oh no!
So it's the machines we got to get rid of, not the candidates, so to speak. But I go so far as to say that
the Illuminati and Bohemian Grove. You live in California, you know about Bohemian Grove. You know about it. The presidents are basically chosen in Bohemian Grove. And you know what? What is Bohemian Grove? Bohemian Grove is a thing where they worship a big owl, and they rich and elite people come there and they make decisions over. One of the places where they make decisions over where the next leader in the United States will be at. If I'm wrong, correct me.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All I know is they do different ceremonial rites there at that Bohemian Grove. I don't know what they decide.
And this is not to make anybody mad. Most of your presidents are Masons.
Yeah. But what's going on in Brazil?
Tell me what's going on in Brazil. What's going on in Brazil?
Brazil had just had an election which the people do not accept. So there's lots of rioting in Brazil. And it's not like they're celebrating a soccer tournament or nothing. They're all against the government down there. And part of the problem in Brazil is they don't have military or a large police force. So the rioters, the crowd, are all overwhelming the police, and the politicians looks like they're going to have to go. And if things keep going the way they're going. But I just saw last night on the internet, on the YouTube, listen to some interesting reporters giving a spiel on what's really going on down in Brazil. Also, I heard out in Mexico that the cartel is overwhelming the police down there. They're shooting down airplanes and helicopters that the police are trying to use to, keep somewhat a semblance in Mexico, and the cartels overwhelmed them all. So it's all those immigrants, all that fentanyl, all those women and children. That's what it is. They got a business going, Clifton. They got a business going down there.
To me, it would only make sense that the cartel they would control that country anyway. Because anytime you see a impoverished a group of poor people in a country, That means that it can be very corrupt if they're making money off of distribution of illegal drug
Yeah,
activities.
whatever.
So,
They
so
mishandle it coming into this country. That's what
uh-huh.
it is. That's where
So
they get the power.
that's why Governor Abbott is mad. Governor Abbott, who's the governor of Texas, is shipping people from Texas, the border, to sanctuary cities. We got a problem in Chicago. We got a big problem in Chicago. You know, there was a lady on WBON radio station. It's an all-black radio station, and she was advocating us citizens getting a petition because she made the statement that it is wrong. It's wrong to have a sanctuary city. What is sanctuary city? Meaning that somebody that comes into the country illegally, they are entitled to the same entitlements that I am entitled to. And she's going to circulate a petition. That is something that she's going to do. And it's a problem in Chicago. I don't know about California. There's a problem in Chicago. They have a school. Around 63rd and Cottage Grove. I know people aren't familiar with that area, a lot of people. But they get ready to house immigrants in there. Okay.
Well,
and a lot of people in Chicago are like, how can you house immigrants in a school and you got people living up underneath a bridge?
Right.
By Maxwell Street when you drive off the highway.
You can't do that. You can't do that. You got to take care of your homeless first.
Yeah,
Out here in California, they got so many homeless. Clifton is like a city of homeless. There's so many people that come out here from all the states in the fall because they can't survive in the winter times under the bridges. Most of them can't. And so we got thousands and thousands of them from all over the country out here. And now we got immigrants coming in, like over about 3 million so far. So with these homeless, you wouldn't believe the problems they got out here, but nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear about California's problems because they got problems. There are people freezing in their cars back east a couple weeks back in the snowstorm. And listen, down in Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee last night, they had like 15 tornadoes and it tore up a whole bunch of the towns down there. But people got time to hear about somebody else's problems, but all these problems are going to affect us all real soon. And then it's going to come down to whether we want a Democrat or a Republican president again in 2 years. And it's like, hey, man, I just want to fix the problems. I don't care who's the president. I want to fix the problems. Well, we'll give it to Sleepy Joe, and he'll take another vacation. So that's what will probably happen.
Something that I got to say, and I almost hate to say it. I think that Joe Biden is a good man, but I hate to say this. I think the country was safer military-wise with former Donald Trump. I believe that we were safe.
Well, how do you think Donald Trump got into office? How do you think he got elected? The night of the election, how did that happen? I mean, if the elite are selecting their presidents rather than them being elected because the machines, the diabolical machines, how did Donald Trump ever get to be the president?
I mean, what? I have some negative things. I have negative thoughts about former President Donald Trump, but I do, like I said, I believe that the country was safer. I believe that. And I believe that he was harder on China. And I'm not going to say Russia, because I believe he was in
I'm asking you, I'm telling you, if we got machines, Diebold machines and Dominion machines that select the president, how did Donald Trump ever get selected?
I don't know.
Well, they told Hillary.
Go ahead.
They told Hillary Clinton that night of the election that the balloting was messed up they had to go to the Electoral College to select the president. And in the Electoral College, that's what they did. They selected Donald Trump instead of Hillary Clinton. And the Dominion Diebold machines all said Hillary Clinton won by vote count, because just they did the votes just like they did in Georgia. They have on the screen the red, blue counties and whatnot. They did the same thing on election night, but they gave it to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, do you know why they gave it to Donald Trump? The generals at the Pentagon decided that they wanted to put a leader in that was going to work for them and not for the elite. So that's why they got Donald Trump and put him in the seat. And that's why all those people tried to take him out of office for 4 years, tried to impeach him, tried to get his files from Mar-a-Lago even after he left office. They tried to do everything to him because they know darn well he didn't get elected. He got appointed by the generals.
I mean, but you know something? You talk about Donald Trump. I believe that he's been bastard. But you know what? But I believe that he is a strong man. Oh, and yeah. I believe that the majority of leaders across the world, they're smart and they're strong. And I believe that Donald Trump was the strongest one in the room. I believe it.
I heard just through the grapevine that Donald Trump got caught embezzling funds from his own companies, and that's why the generals gave him the opportunity to sit in the president's seat or go to prison. So I don't know. He might be a good guy. Everybody's a good guy in some ways, and he might. I'm
not saying Donald was a good guy. He's a strong man.
I'm not saying anybody's good or bad. I think we all have to work on our own selves a bit, and but that was a pretty suspicious election last time. But but when Sleepy Joe got elected after months in his basement before the election and not really talking to anybody, I thought, oh come on, man, these Dominion machines just as bad as the Diebold, and that's exactly what it was. Who would ever put Joe Biden into office as the president of the United States? You got to be kidding me.
I don't go with you on it. I think that Joe Biden, I think that he's a decent man, but you could turn around and say, when we talk about classified documents, hell, he took classified documents too.
That's right. For being a decent man, he was only the vice president. He wasn't the president when he took those documents too. So that's illegal. That's against the law, and he should be prosecuted all the way to prison. But nah, we'll let it go.
No, but you know what?
No, he's too old. Let him sleep.
But you know what? Tell you what. Now, I believe in conspiracy theories. Now, Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, who knows? He could have been getting set up. And those documents could have been planted in office. But you could say that about Donald Trump too. You would say those classified documents might have been planted in his office.
You can say whatever you want. On the news at the moment, all that Russian collusion and Donald Trump working with the Russians, that was all made up stuff. And they've got the facts and figures now, who made it up, where it came from. That Adam Schiff, he got kicked out of the investigative committee and in the Congress. And a lot of those people that were touting all these, they had witnesses that had information that was going to put Donald Trump out of office. It was all a lie. So, we don't know. It's hard to know whether something's valid or not until
It's like even with Kennedy. President Kennedy's assassination. It's hard to know. Is it believable that Lee Harvey Oswald did that by himself?
No, he got shot by 3 different directions. Remember, we got hit in the side of the head. That's the main shot that blew his head out. Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't shooting from the side, but they didn't care about that. They just wanted him dead, and they wanted his brother dead as well because they knew they were going to tell the people, the voters, about the grays, the greens in New Mexico. But that, I've been thinking about that for 50 years, trying to figure that one out, and I'm kind of amazed that nobody figured it out yet. But it just came to me the other day. But talking about outer space, I hear the Chinese have got a space station up there now.
Yeah.
And I also hear they're doing stuff out there in space that, maybe we don't get along with them quite, as good as we should. We got our own space station out there, International Space Station. All that junk that's going around from all those all the rocket ships and over the last 60 years, they say there's a lot of junk floating around out there. All this stuff that's out there in space outside of our planet Earth, all going to get burnt up in the next couple of years when the Nemesis Nibiru system comes around our sun. There's 10 or 12 planets total, and it's going to take about 90 days to get around our sun, for all of them to get around. And in the meantime, it's going to incinerate all that junk that's floating around out there in space. It's just going to burn up in the heat.
Wow. I mean, space junk.
Yeah, all space junk.
But you know what? When you talk about space in China, I think I read something where some Russian cosmonauts are stuck up in space. But I'm trying to recall. Though. I don't.
Well, they're bringing them back from the space station, and the Earth. The U.S. People that were up there, the Russians were just going to say, "No, we're not going to give you a ride back." Because because we're supplying missiles to the Ukrainians to bomb up the Russians. So why would the Russians want to give us a free ride back to Earth? That just don't make sense. So, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world at the moment. But I heard that Russia sends a lot of the gas to Europe through a pipeline.
Well, it's supposed to be an embargo to where these people, I'm talking about the Europeans and other people in other countries, they're not supposed to be able to buy that gas. But you say they're buying it anyway. Huh?
Well, they are one way or another, but I just heard the pipeline got blown up last week or two by some nefarious group. And they're trying to blame it on the Russians, but Putin claims he didn't do it. I'm not going to blow up my own pipeline, he said. Somebody else did it. And I wouldn't know who, but first guess would be the CIA. In the world we live in, the CIA does everything to everybody all the time. The wrong stuff, overthrow governments, close down pipelines, drive the gas prices through the ceiling. That's CIA is doing that.
Man, you know what I can see? We gonna have to start coming on earlier, Well, that's what I think. You know what? We come in. You know what? In Chicago, we come on at 5 o'clock. But in California, we come on at 3 o'clock. So,
yeah.
Who knows what? They'll be able to replay this. But anyway, what was you saying about? What was you saying, though?
Well, I was just saying how all that space junk's going to be gone in a couple of years, but we got to get all the astronauts down here on Earth for the passing, because if they think they're going to have astronauts up there in the space station, they're crazy. NASA is crazy because they know that these Nemesis Nibiru systems coming, and they're just playing dumb with the populace. I think they know, and they're well aware of just what's coming when.
You know what? You know what I'm trying to remember, and I didn't read it. I'm thinking that it's the Russian cosmonauts. They are the ones that are stranded. But somebody out there might know that, but I don't. I can't remember this. I can't remember this story.
No, the story is that they told the American astronauts that they can find their own way home. Because Russia's got the missiles and the satellites and the technology now, just like we do, just like the Chinese, just like, who knows, the Japanese may even have it. I'm surprised the Japanese aren't wasting their time and trouble going into space, because they're developing the robots over there in Japan. They got the smart robots, and they got them. They can do a lot of stuff now over in Japan.
But you know the thing, the thing about the thing about Japan. One of the reasons that they have all these robots, because they're not procreating like they used to. There's an older, much. I think they say there's a whole lot of older generation people in the older generation that they're not procreating. They're
Right.
not making extensions of themselves like they like in China or something like that. Like in, I'm not even gonna say Russia because I don't believe that Russia's population growth is that big. And the thing is, that's why you have all this AI technology. That's why you have all that, because
Well, that AI, artificial intelligence, I think that's where all this attitude is coming in our politics, in our everyday life. They're changing the words that we use for things, and
Mhm.
and the way the whole attitude is about things. But where's the change coming from? No one person is claiming to say this. So I think it's the AI system that we have available now that's trying to coerce the public to vote one way or the other, or to do something or not.
I mean, but you know what? But they've been doing that for ages. For age. Can I give you a quick example, man? Have you ever heard of the mega universe?
Yeah.
What happened is, I had to think about this. The mega universe, for people that don't understand, in the United States and other countries, they put something over their eyes, and they're in a different universe. And there are people that rush home to escape the hell of this world. So AI technology. So the thing is, I think that it has made us made a segment of the people empathetic, insensitive, because they go in their little worlds and do whatever they want to do in a it's called mega universe. And you know what? I don't know if you can buy property in the mega universe. We was discussing this at Kennedy King College in the media, one of my media classes. The teacher said that there was an individual that paid $1 million that had a home next to Snoop Doggy Dogg in the mega universe. I don't, I don't get that. Maybe can you elaborate on
Well,
it? I don't get that.
it
I don't.
sounds to me like another Bitcoin scam. There's some Bitcoin for the last 5 years, and a lot of
Yeah,
people had a little extra cash would
yeah.
invest in Bitcoin. Since Sam Bankman-Fried just, sank the whole Bitcoin ship, it's hard for anybody to be selling Bitcoin now. So nobody's going to trust it. It's the same with elections. Our elections have been scammed on for 50 years, and people don't even like to vote anymore. Some people don't. They just say, "I'm not voting because it don't even matter." They pick the presidents. They don't go by the vote count.
David, something I did want to ask you about the mega universe. There are people that are putting goggles over their eyes to escape the reality of this world. My question is to you and to the other people that are listening: did we not go into mega universe, but the goggles just wasn't on our eyes when we rushed home every day to watch television? I'm talking about a segment of the population. Did we not run away from reality in a different sense by running home, getting home as fast as you could to see your favorite television program? We
Well,
didn't
that's
put the goggles on when we turned the television on. Did we
well,
not?
that's your choice. You have a choice in this country.
Oh,
In this country, if you live in Russia or you live in China, you don't got no choice. You live in North Korea, you don't got no choice. But in America, United States of America, you got a choice still.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking you that.
Well, okay, what you're asking me is if we're living in China.
No, I'm saying it. I'm saying the young people are putting goggles over their eyes and going to a mega universe to escape the realities of this world.
Right.
Did
I'm
we?
telling you, if
Did
we're in
we?
China, you
Did,
can't do that.
I'm saying, did we not do this? Did a segment of our generation of people not do the same thing, rushing home to watch their favorite television show to escape the realities of this world?
Our generation, Clifton, did LSD. We did peyote. We did mushrooms. We did all kinds of hallucinogenics in the 70s and 80s, and then we did cocaine, and
Mhm.
then they went to crack, but nowadays they want to just see. They want to block out everything. They just want to see what they want to see. Put those goggles on, and
Yeah,
that's it. Because they grew up in a time when people were getting all messed up on drugs and whatnot. They didn't give those children any attention, didn't raise them right, and now the kids grow up and they just want to put goggles on.
yeah, and you know what? It's you know what? The percentage of people that are using these goggles to go to a mega universe is increasing. Do you know now you can go on a vacation in the mega universe? You can go on a vacation in them. You said something about you said something about robots and AI technology. You can go on a vacation, putting in a mega universe.
Well, you remember that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he sits down in that chair and he closes his eyes, they give him a shot in the arm and he becomes somebody else
Mm-hmm.
in a mega universe. He's just sitting in that chair the whole time, but he thinks he's somewhere else, and the whole movie takes you on a different track then of what's happening in his head. But I just saw that movie on the other night. Can't remember what it was called, but yeah, that's what can happen to you, and that's your choice. That's your choice in life. You want to go to a farm. You want to plant seeds in the ground and raise crops. That's your choice. That's what you choose to do. I didn't have a choice as a child. That's where I was raised at, so I got to do that. So I understand the farming, but then I moved to the city and learned how people live in the cities. They go to the
Mm-hmm.
grocery store, spend all the money they earn every week buying the same stuff I grew in the ground back home.
Oh yeah, you know what I got to tell the people? Actually, me and David, we're going to do a live show in Chicago. In Chicago, inshallah, that's Allah's will, God's will. We're going to do a live show in Chicago on Can TV on the 20th, on the
Yep.
20th of January, 2023, and we're going to take live telephone calls, but they're not going to miss out on it because they get the opportunity to see it on YouTube. But
Right.
we will be live. We will have.
We love YouTube.
Yes.
Both of us love the YouTube. I've
Hmm.
loved it ever since the day it came to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
So, but we will be on live. We will be on live. We're doing a live show. That will be a Friday. And one day, I'm going to learn how to broadcast this to YouTube while we're doing it. I'm going to see if I can do this. But we're going to have Andrew Nelson,
just ask your teacher. Ask your
who's,
teacher. She'll tell you.
he's running for political office in Chicago. He's running for mayor of Chicago, which I think the next mayor of Chicago would be Chewy Garcia. And the actor, John McDonald, we will ask him so many things. But the last question we're going to ask him, if we get enough time, is about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. That's the last question.
Well, they still trying to get a few laughs or get some comments on stuff that happened last year, but there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe right now that's really serious stuff. Because like a month or two ago, everybody was talking about the gas prices being high. Now they're a little bit lower because people driving less in the wintertime.
Yeah,
And they're talking about the food going up, and it's still going up. But now there's no eggs around. You can't. I went to the store the other day, Clifton. They want $12 for a dozen eggs. And it's like, what are you talking
no,
about?
they didn't want no 12. Come on, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, $12 in some stores out here. You can't go to 7-Eleven and get a banana for less than $1. One banana costs you $1 at 7-Eleven.
You know what, the inflation in the economy, you know what, man, I walked through, let me tell y'all something. I walked through a store and I saw empty shelves. And I called up David. I called up David Kaas from California.
Yep.
And I said, you know what, David? Everything that you saying is coming to pass. I mean, the prices were high. And there's usually frozen food that fills up the shelves and there were gaps. And I called up David and I said, I had to call David. Me and David talk often, and I said, "Oh wow, everything David Kaas said is coming to pass." And you know what? I think David said, "No, brother, that ain't me. It's the revelations, my brother."
It's just happening like naturally. I put out my book for the final chapter about. I wrote a book in 2006.
What can they buy the book? What can they buy it on Amazon?
No, it's not available for a decent price. They bought some of them on Amazon, but they're selling for like $50-$75. Not worth it. Just wait another year. I'm gonna come out with Farm Physics 2, and we'll get those books out there in about a year. But
so tell us what your book. What was the book about? Was it about the New World Order and the collapse of the government? What was it about?
Well, it covered several different subjects, but that was the last chapter of the book, talking about the hurricanes, the floods, the fires, the landslides, the prices going through the ceilings, and the shortage of food. The shortage of food is going to starve this country to death because people aren't going to be able to go buy it anywhere. You might have some money, but you won't have any food around. So what do you think is going to happen then? The gas is going to run out for a while, for a year maybe. We're going to have to be able to survive, and that's going to require using our heads together. You're not keeping all the stuff to yourself. You're going to have to share it with your brothers and sisters out there just to get through the lean times,
Damn it, I'm gonna go on escape and go to the mega universe. You say that ain't gonna do no good, huh?
They don't have no food there to eat. They won't have nothing for you there, Clifton. It might look good, but it won't taste good.
But you know what? But David Kaas, you know what? David Kaas, my partner, he has been saying this for years that we will have a global economic crisis. There will be a food shortage and food prices will go up in the future. He was saying this 10 years or 9 years ago.
Well, well, I could see it happening before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I could see things going downhill. Like we still got football, baseball, basketball on TV, but one of these days, people, it ain't going to be there no more because they're not going to be able to afford to entertain you with sports, professional sports that cost millions of dollars per player. They're not going to be able to do that anymore. So one of these days, Clifton, all the professional sports are going to end, and it may be sooner than we think.
You talking about the football player that got hurt? What was the football player that got hurt? What do you say? Are the people becoming soft with the football players and basketball players are getting hurt so bad? I forgot the football player's name.
I don't know whether he got vaccinated or not. He might have got vaccinated and he might have just dropped from that. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
I wouldn't think a person that is in that kind of shape for a sport like professional football would just collapse on a field for any reason under the sun. You think those people would get physicals a couple a year and the doctors would be watching them, so they shouldn't do that. But that guy, at least he didn't die. He got to the hospital. They got him under treatment, and he's still alive. So that's the best.
Who are the two NFL teams that was from?
Was it Buffalo Bills?
Okay,
and somebody else. But
I mean,
I don't watch football myself. I don't really care who's
Chicago
playing.
Bears, baby.
I don't care about sports. I never was raised with sports when I was younger. So I was kind of surprised just to hear that somebody passed out on the field. But you got to find out why they passed out, and if other players are under the same duress as that one was, we're gonna have more players dropping. If more players got the vaccine, I wouldn't let them play football no more.
I mean, it's up to them, though. Yeah, I understand. But
Well,
you
it
didn't
is
say
up to
what,
them.
you
It's
didn't
not
say
up to
what
us.
vaccine, but go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
it's up to them. It's not up to us. But we get to watch them drop on the field.
But
And
you know something? I'm gonna tell you something now. Somebody's gonna think that what I'm a sorry soon. I don't understand why they called off the football game. Now
right,
somebody's looking at this. I got something. I don't see why they called off the football game. Okay, I don't.
I think they did it just to do it, to see whether they get away with it and see what the reaction would be by the crowd. Because the people that run those games, that call those games, there's a lot of money in that. And so it's like, why would they call a game because somebody passed out on the field? I've seen other players taken off the field from injuries. They don't call the game.
Perhaps there was some insurance money. Maybe perhaps this is insurance, whereas if they call off a game, somebody gets a certain amount of money. I don't know. But I didn't understand. Do you remember Darryl Stingley? Darryl Stingley got hit and broke his back. Okay. And I forgot what team he played for in the NFL. Broke his back. And they carted him off the field and they continued playing the game. I didn't. You know what, Darryl Stingley, y'all look that up. Like I say, he broke his back. He's a quadriplegic. He was a quadriplegic. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. I didn't understand why they called the game. I didn't.
Well, do you remember last year there was nobody in the stands? They had all them fake people in the stands at the football games,
Yeah.
and they even had crowd noise on the television set, so it sounded like there were people in the stands. No people could be allowed in the stadiums because of COVID masking and whatnot. Remember that? The whole season.
Yeah, I don't.
Remember that?
Yeah, you know what? I forgot the player's name. You know what? But the thing is, I didn't think it was worthy of calling off the whole game. I just didn't, man. I think it was some things going on behind the scenes that I'll never know about. And I think that somebody made some big money, some real big money. I think that somebody had insurance, whereas if something like this happened, or it was some type of clause, but who knows? I don't know. Hey man, what you know something about Roswell? I was talking to somebody about the blues and the grays. did a good interview with them. And you know what? The whole incident about Roswell in Area 51 and a spacecraft crashing in that area. Do you believe that was real, or do you believe it was fabricated? Roswell, Mexico.
I can only say from the information I have read and the videos I have seen, it had to do with the one rescued alien that a woman in the military got to talk with. And telepathically. It communicated with her before it died. Yeah, but all that is one little incident. There's thousands of those green grays below the ground at the deep underground military base near Dulce, New Mexico. That's where they started from.
I thought it was Roswell. Go ahead. Okay.
Well, Roswell's another base, another area, 51. It's experimental for aircraft and whatnot. And you could have aliens there too. All these different sites are connected by tube shuttles in the country.
Yeah.
They got tubes that run underground that have little cars in them that they're all connected. So if a gray wants to, it can go to Area 51, or it can go to Dulce, or it can go out over to Europe on one of these tube shuttles. There's no restrictions uh, for them. But I think we've had several different sightings, incidences. Whitley Strieber lived in New York City, and he got picked up several times right out of his apartment window. He had lived in a skyscraper. A couple times they came and took him right out the window, stuck probes in him in his eyeballs and up his rectum and everything. And then we had the incident with those guys who were out sawing trees. That one guy got picked up for a few days and then he got dumped back off, and they did the same to him. This is not an isolated incident. We got a lot of people that have seen flying saucers nowadays, craft in the sky. We've got other people that got implants in them that get picked up regularly and examined by the gray greens. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But the news and the papers and the government, the military has been covering it up for all my life. And that's kind of what irks me off. I don't like voting for individuals to get into office and then have them keep lying to us while they're in office. I don't go for that. I want to vote for a person that's going to tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Is that possible these days?
Well,
is that possible these days?
With
all the crime and the new world order and the bad politics in NATO, is that all possible?
It's not possible if you vote Democratic or Republican. I'll guarantee you that. You're going to get the same thing you got for the last 50 years. A bunch of fast-talking guys that do nothing and just steal the money. That's all they do is steal your money. Your taxes have paid for 131 deep underground military bases. Your taxes pay for NASA's discoveries in space that you'll never hear about. Your taxes pay for over 65 military bases in foreign countries. And that's where your taxes go.
NATO.
Well, wouldn't you like to see those taxes take care of this country?
Yeah.
That's where it should be.
Absolutely. You know what, David? Some people ask me, "What's wrong with me?" I say, do I believe in space aliens? I believe in space aliens. I do. Okay. I don't have enough knowledge to talk about the blues and the grays, but I believe that there's too many planets outside the solar system for life not to exist. I believe that. And I believe that we have been visited. And people that are watching, you know what? There are millions of people that love science fiction and Star Trek. I love Star Trek when they got the opportunity to visit planets and with different aliens and different races. And you know what? I'm doing shows on Star Trek now. So
yeah.
I believe that they're different on outside of the solar system. There is life. I mean, people agree.
There's a lot of life.
Yeah, I believe.
Well, most people, the whole argument or the whole reasoning has to do with what actually happened. How these people got on the Earth, how the people got on those planets.
Yeah.
And whether there's actually insectoids and reptilians out there in space that are smart, just like we are in their heads, and they can do stuff against the human race if they want to. And that's a fact of reality, too, that most humans weren't raised with. Most of our parents told us that we're the only planet with life on it, and that's the way it is. And God's where we're going when we die. So nobody ever thinks about anything outside this little ball of dirt we're on.
I mean, like I say, this is that is something. That's something that I believe, man. It's too many planets. And you know what? It's interesting, man. That's all. Well, David, a recap. You know what? Me and David will do a live show in Chicago. You probably say, "What good is that doing you in California?"
But, no, it's bringing us together.
A live show was at January the 20th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And David will be coming by satellite, by Skype. If that does not work, he had to use the telephone. And what happened is we'll put his picture.
We'll get together. We'll get together. Well, thank you, Clifton. Thank you very much.
Oh, you don't get to go that fast. Wait a minute. Where's your YouTube page? Where's your Facebook page? Where you go on other shows? You go on other shows. Come on.
Well, just go to Facebook and friend me at David Kaas, Kaas, or the YouTube at David L. Kaas, and we can all be friends. All be friends.
And plus, you go on different shows too. You go on all the different shows you can, right?
Well, I go on. I'm getting more selective about the shows, you know.
Oh, that means, you know what that means? He's got millions of people that want him to come on the show. I might have to stop paying this guy to come on now.
Clifton, you're my favorite guy. Well, I do Michael Vera's show on thelastfrequency.com, and so I'm going to be appearing on there sometime soon with my presidential announcement. But yeah, just keep listening and keep tuning in, and you'll keep hearing more of the real news here.
But you will go on other shows. You will go on other shows, right?
Well, I have to talk to him. I got to see what shows you're talking about. I don't want to do no kids shows, and I don't want to do no farm shows. So I like the big shows.
You do Sean Hamilton and Mr. Carson. You would love to get on that those shows, right?
Yes. I would like
on television, right?
Tucker Carlson can't get me on as soon as he can.
Okay. And my name is Clifton Raheem Bradley, and like I said, me and David do a show called The Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. in Chicago on Comcast, but we come on 24 hours a day on YouTube 7 days a week. So if you like this, subscribe. If you don't like it, good. Okay. But David, I'm going to get on out of here. It's time for me to pray. And we'll be talking if it's Allah's will. If it's God's will, we'll be talking, brother.
Always, Clifton.
Hey,
thank you.
What's the name of the guy's show again that you appear on?
Michael Vera on lastfrequency.com.
You're like a regular on there. You come on every month, right?
Well, I've been on just a few times, but he's been doing the show for about 16 years, and he's coast to coast. So he's a good friend of mine.
Okay. And be sure to go to Minister Ben's podcast. And in the Mind of Minister Ben Willis podcast, and Shema Media Productions. We do video production in Chicago. We make television shows. Plus, we do editing. Plus, we can film your events.
Yes.
Telephone numbers is below 1-312-884-9757. Okay. All right, my brother. Take care.
Have a great day.
All right, brother. Salam alaikum. Okay. And I'm going to sign off. And hey, this has been fun. There's people watching on my other websites. They did not want to get in the chat room. It's okay. Okay. Salam alaikum to everybody. Take care. One but tea. As Julia Child used to say.